Welcome to the Explainer. So today we are zeroing in on one of the most universally frustrating yet totally relatable moments in life. You know, when you're tearing the house apart looking for something, only to realize it was in literally the most obvious place possible. We are going to break down the highly natural, everyday conversational English phrases that native speakers actually use when they finally find that missing item.
I mean, have you ever frantically searched for your phone while you were literally talking on it? Or desperately patted yourself down looking for the glasses that were sitting right on top of your head? Yeah, we have absolutely all been there. Okay, let's dive into this universal chaos of misplacing things.
Here's our quick roadmap for today. We're going to look at why things are right there, prioritize connection over perfection, go over some essential natural phrases, dive into phrases using personification, and wrap up with some real-life application scenes.
All right, starting off with Section 1. Things are right there.
So why does this actually happen to us? Well, in English, there's this really funny, super informal term for it. We call it a brain fart. It's basically this temporary mental lapse where you just completely overlook something incredibly obvious. It's like your brain just briefly glitches, right? And it causes your eyes to pass right over the exact object you're frantically searching for.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ridiculous things we manage to temporarily lose. You know, stuff like having 10 totally useless nail clippers scattered around the house but never finding one, leaving your special coffee cup in the break room, somehow losing Dad's highly important document behind the glove compartment, or actually my personal favorite, grabbing a granola bar in bed because you literally mistook it for your glasses. Moving right along to Section 2, Connection over Perfection.
Just notice the stark difference here. If you use a rigid textbook apology like, I made a mistake, I am sorry, it kind of just makes things a bit awkward. But if you use a natural, everyday phrase to laugh it off, saying something like, wow, it was right in front of my face, you immediately build a connection. You're taking this silly little mistake and turning it into a shared human moment with a cashier or a coworker or a friend.
Which brings us to Section 3, Essential Natural Phrases. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that the phrase, it was right in front of my face, can actually be used both literally and metaphorically. It expresses this absolute disbelief that an item was in such an obviously visible spot. It is honestly the perfect natural reaction to finally finding exactly what you need, right where it belongs.
Next up, we have I was looking right at it. Picture this. You are frantically digging through your wallet at the grocery store for your credit card, building up a sweat, only to realize it was sitting right there in the main slot the entire time. You just look up at the cashier, let out a little laugh, and drop this phrase. It instantly clears all the awkwardness. So the crucial point here is how perfectly this phrase, I walked right past it, describes missing a stationary object. Like say you're at the airport baggage claim and you somehow completely overlook your massive, bright red suitcase going round and round on the carousel. This is exactly what you say when you finally grab it.
All right, on to Section 4, phrases using personification.
So personification is when you give inanimate objects human traits. And in this context, instead of just admitting you are totally clueless, you pretend your lost item was secretly laughing at you, like it was actively mocking your frantic search. It's such a brilliant, clever way to inject some natural humor into an otherwise frustrating situation. For example, take the phrase, it was staring me in the face. Using this makes it sound like your missing keys literally had eyes and were just sitting there on your desk watching you tear apart the whole room. It's a highly visual, incredibly natural way to speak, and it completely diffuses any tension. And then we have the one place I didn't think to look. I mean, imagine checking the lost and found, frantically retracing every single one of your steps, only to walk back to your car and find your missing item just sitting perfectly on your own dashboard. Saying this phrase is pretty much the ultimate self-deprecating response.
And finally, Section 5, Real-Life Application Scenes.
Let's move to and see how this builds in the real world. Imagine the ultimate high-stress airport panic. You think you lost your phone, you're sprinting frantically across 2 entire terminals in a total, absolute sweat. Then, you reach into a totally different pocket and boom, there it is. Instead of feeling incredibly foolish, you just look at your travel buddy, laugh, and use one of our natural phrases to completely diffuse the stress together. Because here's the thing, the messiness of life makes things crazy, and yeah, definitely stressful. But it's also incredibly good for human connection. These little everyday mental lapses, these brain farts, they are completely universal.
So instead of hiding in embarrassment, we can use them as a perfect opportunity to bond with someone over a shared, natural English phrase.
So, I gotta ask you, what was the last extremely obvious thing you lost? And more importantly, which of these natural phrases are you going to use the next time you have a total brain fart? Think about your own funny experiences, keep making those human connections, and thanks for joining me for this explainer.
Got it! What's up? Catch up! Aha!